Evening guys, it's going to be my second video log. Hope you enjoyed the one last week. This week I'm going to go through training differences between men and women. First things first, really want to dispel the myth for anybody who's just new to the gym that if you're a woman and you do weights training, you're going to bulk up and you're going to get really muscly, which might not be what you want to do. Get rid of that thought out of your head straight away. Hopefully this is going to give you a better idea as to why you lifting weights is not going to make you big and muscly, and why it's actually going to give you the physique you want. First big difference between men and women, and this is probably the only thing that will affect the way that men and women train, is hormone response. Obviously, as most of you will know, males produce the hormone testosterone, and this is what actually aids men to put on a lot of weight quicker than what it will do women. A lot of more lean body tissue, so muscle. With women not having this, they kind of get the lower aggression rates and struggle to put on muscle as quickly. Some women can lose around 6 pounds of muscle a year if they're not training, which is a lot of muscle to lose, especially if you're trying really hard to put it on. Because you women are missing this, this is the proof that if you're training with weights, you're not going to get muscly. You lacking testosterone. Without testosterone, you're not going to put on as muscle as quickly. So basically, I encourage women to lift weights. I mean, it's fantastic. It's helps with stress relief, and also you actually carry on burning calories after a big session. So if you're lifting for, say, between 8 and 12 reps, when you actually finished and go home and sit on the sofa, you're still burning calories, which is great for anybody on a weight loss or fat loss program. So basically, the way that men and women train should be no different, really. Obviously, guys, you know, they're going to be lifting bigger weights, but I mean, women, I've seen a lot of women in the gyms actually lifting as much as some of the lads, and with better technique. The only thing I would say actually for women and also men as well is, before undertaking any type of weights program, do the body weight version of that lift first, just so you get your technique right. Technique is paramount for everything. So if you're doing a squat, you should be squatting without weight first, just normal body weight. Make sure you're getting down nice and low, knees slightly turned out, feet slightly turned out, and make sure you're bending at the hips as well. Okay, nice and low squats, really important. Actually, the one big difference between men and women actually comes down to diet. When it comes to what you intake in a day, women actually have a lower metabolic rate, so a basal metabolic rate. This is the base metabolic rate. If you did no exercise throughout the day, how much food you could intake. Okay, so usually for men it's around 2,500, and for women it's slightly lower, somewhere around the 2,200 mark, which is quite a few calories less than men. Actually, it's almost a full meal. This is usually because women have higher body fat percentage due to estrogen, which actually means that you retain more body fat because of having higher estrogen levels. When you're on this diet, when you're having this diet, also men usually retain fat, find it most stubborn to get rid of fat around the lower abdomen, so around the bottom of your belly, whereas women, I'm sure you've all had the experience of putting on weight, especially around your hips and your bottom area. The reason that these areas are usually quite stubborn to get rid of body fat is due to the fact that there's less blood flow going to those areas and less receptors that actually stimulate fat loss. So obviously with women having lower basal metabolic rate usually means that they wouldn't eat as much and maybe would need less carbohydrates in their program than males, less protein, just to try and bring that calorie levels down. Apart from that, there's no reason why you women shouldn't be lifting as much as guys. If you're training hard, you go for it. One thing I would say is when you do take up a weights program, try and keep it a regular thing. I wouldn't do it 1 week and then not for another couple of weeks. Strength loss is actually more prominent in women than it is in males because of that lack of testosterone. So when you do take up a strength program, try and keep it going. Hopefully this is helpful to some of you. If anybody's got any questions, please feel free to get in contact with me and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll speak to you again when I get my next question.